has to get out of bed, get home every evening, and
we're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM. If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WINNFM.
You found the sound.
So Kuzo presents Showcase is a brand new show. It's an open mic edition for the artists who will come and showcase.
98.9 Win FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and of course your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
every day I wake and everything is broken.
You found the sound. 98.9 Win FM.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis, everyone in the Leeward Islands, the OECS, the Caribbean. Hey, while we're at it, we might as well say good evening to the entire universe. And welcome to another edition of On The Ball here at WinFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and it's good to be with you. The final Tuesday in July. Wow. That's 7 months in the year gone. So we just have 5 months left. And the Culturama, it's steaming off on the weekend. There was a steel band competition last night. We say congratulations to the winners, OR, Wally Rhythms. I had the privilege and the honor of being one of the judges there. And hey, Nevis Steel Band, they're moving ahead by leaps and bounds. And soon they will, in my view, go way past. As a matter of fact, the last competition, steel band competition we had here in St. Kitts and Nevis for Carnival, I think there were 2 bands from St. Kitts and like 5 from Nevis. So whatever you're doing in Nevis, keep on doing it. But we're talking sports, and they had action Sunday. They're going to be having action again. But before we get here, we say happy birthday to those of you celebrating birthdays today. Happy anniversary to those of you who are celebrating anniversaries today. And if by chance you're going through a period of bereavement, we say condolences to you. We ask you to be strong and find comfort in the many positive moments you would have shared with your loved one and for which you will forever cherish. And for those of you who are going to be celebrating between now and next week, Monday, we say happy birthday in advance, happy anniversary in advance. And those who would have celebrated between last week, Wednesday, and yesterday, we say happy belated birthday, happy belated anniversary. And of course, congratulations to you if you got on your bicycle, you got a promotion on the job, you got on your boyfriend and your girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is on your bicycle. And we say congratulations to you. We need to celebrate these little moments. On the ball, we're hoping we're going to have a very exciting program tonight. What we have lined up for you, we have Mr. Samuel Spencer, the chairman of the Leeward Islands Selection Committee. He's going to be coming on stream at about 7:15 tonight. Oh, we have an early call going as we go straight to the line. We say good evening, caller. Welcome to On the Ball here, Twin FM 98.9. You're live. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Troy.
Oh, yes, we have one of our guests on panelists tonight. He is well on the line. Good evening, Eustace. How are you doing, sir?
Well, so you want me to start?
Yes, could you hold 1 second for us? Could you hold 1 second for us while we wait the other guests, Mr. Samuel Spencer, the chairman of the selection committee out of Antigua and Barbuda, and he will also be joined by Mr. Hugo, former Leeward Islands cricketer and manager, also out of Antigua and Barbuda. So give us a second, Eustace, and we will be with you just now.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Sam. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty much okay, thank you.
Welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. And could I ask you to hold just 1 second while I connect with Mr. Hugo? Just hold 1 second.
Certainly.
Hold 1 second for me, please.
Thank you.
And we're just trying to connect with Mr. Hugo out of Antigua and Barbuda. And this heavyweight panel tonight, we will be discussing the performance of the West Indies cricket team in the recently concluded 3-match test series in England. And of course, we will invite your calls 869-465. And yes, we have Mr.
Hello.
Go. Good evening, Mr. Go. How are you, sir?
Hello?
Good evening, Mr. Go. How are you?
Hello?
Hello, I'm
Yes.
on already, I think.
Yes, Your Honor. Eustace, are you there, Eustace?
Hello?
I'm
Gentlemen.
I'm on you. I think they're trying to connect you, all three of us together.
Yes, we should be connected now. Are you hearing me, Sam?
Hello?
Are you hearing me, Sam? Sam, are you hearing me?
I'm on. I think they're trying to collect all three of us
Eustace,
together.
are you hearing me?
Yeah. I can hear you, Troy.
Okay, I'm hearing you, Eustace. I'm hearing you. Sam, are you hearing me?
They're connecting
Sam, are you hearing me?
you. Yes, I can hear you.
Hugh, are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you now.
And Eustace, you're hearing me?
Yes.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us here at On the Ball, WinFM 98.9. I know it's the festive season in Antigua. You're looking forward to your summer festival, which has started and weekend coming up. This is the Power Week, and weekend coming up is actually the Action Week. And thank you for taking time out to talk to us about cricket, West Indies cricket on the whole. Let's start with you, Hugh. What are your views about the recently concluded 3-match test series with West Indies and England? What were the high points for you?
Disappointed, not surprised, but disappointed. But I guess you.
Yes, you were saying?
Hello?
Yes, continue, Hugh.
Hello?
Yes, continue, Hugh. Are you hearing me?
Hello?
I'm hearing you, Hugh. I don't know if there's an
I'm not
issue
hearing them.
back at the station, but I'm hearing you.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
can
but
hear
I'm
you.
not hearing them.
I'm hearing you guys, but you guys are
Hello?
not hearing me.
Yeah, I can hear you,
I knew.
Troy.
know
and
that
I
they
can
had
hear
some challenges
Spencer.
last
Okay, guys,
week.
can I do
But,
this, please, gentlemen?
they
Hugh,
got it sorted out.
I'll call back Hugh. I'll call you back. I'll call you back, Hugh. I'll call you back, Sam, again while we try to get this figure out. Just give us a sec. Hold on first, please, Eustace.
Yeah.
We do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. We are having a little technical issue here, and we're gonna stick and stay. Don't go away. We're gonna run the ad and get back to you.
you heard about the water shortage in our area? Yeah, it's pretty serious. I've been trying to conserve water as much as possible. Me too. I've started taking shorter showers and turning off the faucet when I brush my teeth. But that's great. Another way to save water is to fix any leaks in your house. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. How much water can a leak waste? A small leak can waste up to 20 gallons of water daily, which can really add up over time. Wow, that's a lot. And have to check for any leaks in my house. Another good tip is to only run your dishwasher and washing machine when they are full to save water and energy. I'll keep that in mind. It's important that we all do our part to conserve water, especially during this shortage. Absolutely. Every drop counts.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Water Services Department. Learn more at water.gov.kn.
Get conscious, get down to business every Wednesday with Conscious Business. Join the Conscious Musical Reasoning with Selector Hayes, Strictly Positive and Conscious Music on Conscious Business on WinFM 98.9, winfm.com. Vibes include Business Education Corner, Business Quote of the Day, Agriculture Time, and Mama Love Track of the Day. Conscious Business is brought to you by Light New Steam Cleaning. You too can get exposure and awareness for your business when you call WinFM's sales department to advertise here. Conscious Business is positive growth.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Let's get real on WinFM. Hi, this is Lavi. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on WinFM. Get ready for an hour of real talk that will keep you engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the hottest topics of the moment, and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. Real talk with Lavi covers all. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on WinFM.
Yes. Are you hearing me, Sam, here?
I'm hearing you. You're coming through low, but I'm hearing you.
Hugh, how about you? Are you hearing me, Hugh? Hugh, are you hearing me? Mr. Gore? You're hearing me, Sam. We have Hugh on the line. You're hearing me, Eustace? And we are having some challenges here.
Hello?
Yes, Hugh. Okay, you're hearing me, Hugh?
I'm hearing you, Hugh, but it appears as though they're having some challenges.
Are you hearing me, Hugh? Are you hearing me, Sam? Okay, looks like we're good to go here. Are you hearing me, Eustace?
Oh.
Eustace, are you hearing me here?
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, my apologies. We're having a little hiccup here with the system, but we're hearing each other now. Hugh, you were saying you were disappointed. Correct. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Yes. I agree. What about you, Sam? What are your views?
Hello? I'm hearing you, but I think they're still having some challenges.
What about you, Sam? And what are you thinking? What are your thoughts Eustace.
Well, first of all, let me say good evening to you and to the listeners out there in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis throughout the Leewards and around the rest of the Eastern Caribbean and all those wherever you are around the world listening to this very, very important program. I am very happy to be on this program tonight. I really wanted to be in studio, but unfortunately, I couldn't make it in studio. But I'm still happy to join you. And also, let me say a good evening to Mr. Spencer and Mr. Gore. Very important question where would the West Indies would have played 3 test matches and we would have, going into that series with some hope after such a big hype, winning that very important and vital test match in Australia, where especially the fast bowler, Mr. Joseph, would have had an excellent performance, and actually by his excellent performance would have bowled us to victory. And so West Indies would go into England. Yes, a very inexperienced team when you look at the team itself, where the captain going into that series at some 89 test matches at that time with just about 12 test hundreds, and the only one to, Holder would have scored also a double hundred too. But it was overall a very inexperienced team, but very talented, and we were really hoping for the best. But at the end of the day, we are very, very disappointed because we would have lost the series by 3-0. And in terms of the performance of the individual players, nothing really to shout about. Only one player, Haji, would have scored over 200 runs, 216.
Safe have lost you guys.
Pardon?
Continue, Eustace.
Yeah. And we have the second
Hello?
top scorer in that series, which is the captain Brathwaite with 166. And then our very own from the Federation, who I have tremendous confidence before the test series, even more confidence, yes, looking forward for the big ton, even in the second inning, which he was really on top of things and being recorded, the player who would have faced the fastest over in England by any fast bowler for a very, very long time. And I understand that.
Okay, Eustace, can you please hold a second for us? If you don't mind, can you please hold a second for us, Eustace?
Okay.
And we're still having some challenges here. And this connection, we'll probably have to do something a little different. Sam, you're hearing me?
Yes, and I was hearing Eustace.
Okay, wonderful. You're still hearing Eustace. You're still hearing Sam.
Yeah. I can hear Sam clear.
So Sam, we didn't perform well. High expectations, as Eustace said, coming out of that Australia test, especially with the new find, Shamar Joseph. His performance way below what persons expected, what persons anticipated. So, what do you think was the reason for that, Sam?
England, he was a little short of red ball cricket, and it was quite evident. As a matter of fact, all the bowlers, to my mind, at some time or another had bowled too short in English conditions. They did not make use of the conditions effectively, and you would note that the amount of runs scored per over from each bowler, is pretty high indeed.
Some persons are questioning the captaincy. Let us start with of Brathwaite. What are your thoughts, Sam, on that? Sam, some persons are questioning the captaincy of Brathwaite. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say that the captaincy was not as good as it should have been. There were times when we were far too defensive. There were times that when we did not mix the bowling up as well as it should have been. But my biggest concern was the field placing at most times and the instructions given to our bowlers and batsmen. We know that our players have limited ability, especially some of them playing in English conditions at test level for the first time. But I don't think that, if the instructions were definitely better and better carried out, we would have had a different results. Yes, we might have lost the series, but not as badly as we did. We need West Indies captains to be more aggressive when the time is necessary. Defense don't win test matches these days. You've got to go out and strike on the opponents.
And what is your view, Eustace?
Well, in reference to the captain, who we know as an individual, very laid back, very pensive, looking passive, not the aggressive person by nature, and you would have seen it as displayed not only in this test series, but that is his style. But, you needed someone who can give a lot more motivation, because you would have
still having some challenges?
Hello?
You're not hearing
I'm not hearing him. I was wondering if you were hearing me when I...
Yes, I heard you, and I'm hearing him. And continue first, please, Eustace.
Yes, as I was saying, that Brathwaite, who has been in this job for some time, and is an individual who is a very laid-back person. He is not someone who is aggressive and by nature, and he brings his own style, where there are times when definitely aggression and motivation were necessary and needed. And he's not the type of person to bring that kind of motivation to the players, to the team. And times when, he should have been a lot more on the attack, where, there are times when England were on the back foot, 5 down for not many runs, and end up making 300-400 runs, which they would have done outside of the last inning.
Hugh, what are your thoughts, Hugh, about that, the same captaincy issue? What are your thoughts? Hugh, what are your thoughts on the captaincy issue? How Brathwaite would have managed his troops?
Well, in anything all that you all was saying. I have just come. I'm now hearing you again because whether I wasn't on or y'all must be still having difficulty. I thought Brathwaite's captaincy could have been much better, buying these two defensive at times. And When he's supposed to attack, he doesn't attack. I've never been impressed with him as a good captain as such, but I would like just to get back to the cricket I was saying when I spoke about West Indies board as having a topsy, because here it is, a young team is going to England. I think only 3 of the guys who played in the T20 were involved in the T20 in the West Indies. They should have tried and got that team up there at least for a month, or even get them up there for 3 weeks to let them get acclimatized, because the reality is you're going to Lords, you're going to meet Jimmy Anderson using his only test, and it is undoubtedly one of the great swing bowlers of all time. And you have at the other end Wokes and whoever much experienced bowlers, and you're actually in a kind of way sending these guys to the wolves, because you got to get acclimatized to play in England. And as you know, before time when others played, we used to play against all the county teams. Now you're only getting one warm-up match, but that shouldn't have stopped you from sending them up there and trying to get games organized. We just were out of sorts. As I said, I was very disappointed, not surprised. I thought that we could have carried the games further with us in under 3 days twice and then into the 4th day. And we should have performed better, but as I said, the board should have taken some responsibility for sending the guys up there earlier. And I'm not seeing enough fight in players as before. Not seeing the fight, but as I said, very disappointed, very, very disappointed. Well, we need an autopsy. We need to sit down and talk. Players, officials, past players, they need to have some kind of symposium on the way forward, because this is not good enough. Certainly not good enough.
Now, I like that idea with the autopsy, and I'm assuming that after every series, test, T20, whatever, this is done, not just by the administrative part, but the technical team as well. But how do you see that fitting in before the South Africa test that starts in a couple of weeks here?
Well, it starts next week as such, but you have to sit down, ain't it? You can't keep on performing like this. Have a few days where you can sit down and talk. You can have your practice. But you bring in some people, technical people, you have past players and invite. Just like they had the CARICOM meetings of heads. And all these players, Dave, Fanny, Michael Holt, and Charlie, Biff, West, all. If you notice a mixture, people from different eras were called in to make a contribution. And maybe this is what has to be done. Some of these people to talk to these players, and you don't have to be aggressive, but you have to be very adamant. I don't know if it's the right word, what you're getting across to them. They're not schoolboys anymore, and therefore you need people that are going to be a little harsh on them, let them face reality. But something has to be done. As I say, you have days, you have a whole week. I think the next first test is Thursday. But something has to be done. Some serious kind of talking. I mean, talking is not all, but you have to see what's in these guys' minds, what they're thinking. We have all this coaching staff and everything, and we still perform in the same way. It's just very disappointing. I knew they were. I thought the bowlers were too short at times. And every time they pitched up, this is what I'm talking about. Where you can ask a bowler, but every time you pitched up, you seem to give a bit more trouble to the batsman than when you pitch short. What is your mode of thinking? What are your thoughts? If you're pitching up and being successful with it, why try and experiment in bowling short? The guy Seals bowled some very good balls. He got some results. Alzari, when he pitched up, looked so much better bowler, but we bowled too short, and we are going for too many runs and over. Too many runs and over.
Alzari,
has to be done.
Alzari, and according to Bishop indicated that Alzari is the most expensive fast bowler, opening bowler in the world. Almost every time he bowls, 100 plus would be coming off him. Yes, he got 100 wickets, and congratulations to him. Notwithstanding, he is one of 2 players to have had 100 wickets and only had a fifer once. The Pakistani, I can't remember his name now. I think he's the other. But you made a big point, Hugh. When you pitch up, you're troubling the batsman, more things happen, but then you're going to bowl short. You pitch up the first ball, bowl short for the other 5. And it comes down with 2.
Bounce as a weapon. Every time these guys pitched up, they look so much better bowlers, but then you come with the short stuff, you know. These guys were hooking. I mean, in England, when you pitch up, you do so much more with the ball. You do so much more with it. And that's why I said we need to have an autopsy. You have to ask these guys what were they thinking. What is your thinking in these games, even as batters? What is your thinking? You understand? Well, your mindset when you're going to a test, when you're playing. But as I say, I thought they could have been taken to England earlier. And I believe earlier they would not have won. I don't think they would have won, but I think they would have put up a better performance. And you have to remember all these tests were back to back in a way. And you know what I mean? It's not the same between the second test, the first and second test. You had a little game against a county or a team where you could get a little practice. It was just back to back, you know, but better could have been done. And we need an autopsy. That's all I say. We need an autopsy.
Thank you, Sam. In terms of the mental aspect, we saw it coming out not only in the bowling, according to what Hugh just said, but the batters. You're going to be playing good, and all of a sudden you're going to see the batters playing a loose shot, hanging the bat out there. Do you think enough mental work is being done with our not just the West Indies team, the West Indian cricketers? Because this seems to be something that happens even down to the Leeward Islands, even down to the Antiguans and the Kittians and Dominicans, the mental approach to the game.
You're certainly right with that. Absolutely not. We have not done enough work with our cricketers as it relates to their mental ability. And it showed, you know, not only in this series, but in previous series. I can recall, I keep saying that we need, as you clearly says, a sit down with our players. And this has to be done prior to series and after series, no matter what the results might have been in a particular series. Now, if you look at what happened to us in Australia, in the West Indies, yes, we played fairly well against England in the West Indies, but still we were not at our very best. Now, going to England, where we knew for sure it would have been a tough series, given the fact that I keep harping that our players are inexperienced, not exposed to enough cricket as it relates to 4-day matches. Why are we still playing one round of 4-day matches in the West Indies? For players to get mentally tough, they need to play many more games. They need to be able to play long innings. I keep saying whenever you make a century in our domestic cricket, it's just about a half century in test cricket because it is much harder. If you note, very few of our batsmen are able to stay at the crease for 2 sessions. Hardly any of them are capable of doing that. And it stems from the fact that playing in the Caribbean, we are not allowing for players to develop along the lines. I think the focus is on too many T20s and the 50-over cricket. We've got to identify players who can stay at the crease, work on them, put them in classroom situations. It's necessary. Cricket is played mainly from the shoulders up.
Indeed, Sam. And what is your view, Eustace? What is your view, Eustace? Thank you very much, Sam. From the mental element, what can we really do to have tougher mental approach to all our cricketers, even starting at the under-19s males and females, on the 17s even, because we see the same sort of approach. You're batting good defense, nice line, nice tight length, and all of a sudden you're going to fish at one outside the off stump. And I go back to Kyle, how he was out. And that's a serious challenge because he was out 5 times behind. 3 caught in the keeper, 2 in the slips. And they showed a map tracking of the balls. About 12 balls bowled to Louis, 12 balls bowled to Holder. And the ball that got Louis out caught behind, the same ball was bowled at Holder. And he played it differently. So what can be done to affect that mental change? Give us that mental toughness, do you think, Eustace?
Well, you mentioned in reference to Holder, who I continue to be very disappointed in, being a former captain, someone who would have had a decent record against the English in the Caribbean some few years ago, and who we expected to lead in terms of his all-around ability. He has fell down, so much over the last years, and because he has been rejected in the IPL, he came back now and is interested in playing Test cricket. These guys are not really serious, and the West Indies board have to make a decision. If people are not serious, are not disciplined, are not committed, and want to provide the best service for the Caribbean, because service is not just a courtesy, it's a commitment. And how much commitment we have from these guys, how much patience, dedication, application, discretion we have from these guys. And the board and selectors must take some responsibility, because in terms of the selection, even in the team where you had the best fast bowler who is in pinker form going to England, yes, being selected only because Roach was not there, but he's in the kind of condition that suited more for his bowling style, and the West Indies management prefer to look at either territory or insularity and not who are the best place to give West Indies the best service. But we will get into that a little more. I am just saying that we needed a lot more commitment from especially the more experienced players, and they were seriously disappointed. Joseph, Azari Joseph,
not too bad, I'm sorry, but
and the captain.
Thank you very much, Eustace. Now, the first test, that was a blow with 2-1, and I agree with the point tremendously. We only had that one first-class match, and how much of top-level cricketers played, I am not certain. And before West Indies tour in England, they'll be up there 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks before. They will play how many county matches before, and play whether it's 3-day or 4-day matches, 1 or 2 between each test. These tests were back-to-back. They were weekly, starting Wednesday this week, Thursday next week, Friday the week after. The conditions, the first test, it was very cold. When it came to the second test, 2 things stood out at me. When West Indies, when we have a team 50-something for 5 and 6, we don't go for the jugular. We allow them to get away. And that's not quite the same generally with us. But England having made 416, I was really not so optimistic that we'll surpass that. I was hoping we get close to it. But then I realized some commitment and dedication in the batters. And I started believing that, hey, we could not only get to 416, but even if we give them a lead of 1, that's a psychological advantage to us. But then we saw something kicking in, what we have seen, gentlemen, over the years. West Indies being consistent at being very consistent. Coming back in this, making 470 something in the first innings, can make 150 in the second innings. What is really happening with us, Hugh, in your view?
First of all, you have to look at one or two positives. I mean, you saw Hodge get 100. You saw Anthony's get 80 plus. You saw Kyle get a half century in the last test. And you see, sometimes you have to go by what commentators said. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Kyle didn't get big scores, but listen to Sangakkara, whom I respect so much, Kima Sangakkara from Sri Lanka. You listen to Mike Atherton and the lady, and they tell you that there's no doubt that he has potential, he can bat. He's a pretty good player. He just hasn't got the scores. But another thing they said was, look at the amount of time he spent at the crease and getting, yes, he didn't get big runs, but he batted for 90 minutes, 80 minutes, 70 minutes. So there are pluses. He's just got to work on this big outside off stump, as you said, and these things play with your mind. Now, to get with the game against second test, we make 464. And you know what happens? This is what I think Spence was saying. We break down mentally again. We can't do it again. Not strong mentally. And you also made a point that many years ago, we used to play at least 7 or 8 county teams on a tour to England. And with these group of fellas, they're very young. I mean, what would Kyle have played now? 3 tests? Antunes would have played what? Maybe 7? Hodge the same amount. You know, it's a very inexperienced team. And as I said, going to England, I expected a better fight, but not disappointed, not surprised, because I know how England is. As I told you, going to Lords for your first test and bowling down that hill or whatever, sometimes the ball is coming to you, then it goes away late. So you can understand. But, you know, you can't make 467 and then come back in the second innings. But I have said it for many years. We are mentally weak, as Spence said, but I've been saying that for donkey years. And if we look back at our track record, we will see how competitive we have been like for 2 days. But these good teams know we're going to break down on the third day. And it happened again. It has happened. It has happened. You know, but as I say, they just answer you. You just got to get in these players' minds, think what they're thinking, you know. And as I say, bad mental breakdown. You can't play 6 innings, you do well in 1, and then the rest come on. You know, I don't like to criticize coaches or managers or a management team or such, but what is really going on? We've seen it being repeated and repeated and repeated. And sometimes we have to do what we have to do. We have to take the bull by the horn and tell it like it is. You know, because we certainly want to see improvement. But you're not going to improve just like that. And I'm a man, yes, I believe in that practice. But I also believe, as Spencer said, I believe in playing in the middle. You know, a lot of guys have all the shots in the nets, you know? All the shots in the world. When you look at them, you wonder if it's the next Gordon Haynes or whatever, Biff, can I Sobers, you wonder all these shots, and then come the game, it's just a different kettle of fish, and I believe in actual practicing as such, you know, and that's my belief. And as we say, we need to play more cricket, but it does not excuse our thing of breaking down mentally all the time. Just as you said, we had the 56 for 5. You know, we know how cricket is unpredictable. That these things happen, but it's happened too many times in the West Indies. You get out the top order and then some lower order hold on, and that's all these kind of things we've got to look back at. We have analysts on tour. You know, we've got to look back at these things. And another thing I wanted to talk about, I'm just going to change the topic a bit. I find it very disappointing that you all have a team named St. Kitts Patriots, and you can only find room for Kyle Louis. Very disappointed with that. I will tell you that openly. You're going to tell me that Jeremiah couldn't get in? There's about 17 players that picked, if I'm not mistaken. You know? But then again, and we all remain silent on these things. Well, not me. I'm a person known to talk my mind and say what is on my mind. And probably, I don't know if they have. They could have looked for 2 other youngsters. I saw a youngster here named Clark who made 100 pen feather. They must have some other 2 people that could have, you know, tried to big thing up because a lot of these overseas stars you are bringing in, they're doing nothing. But then again, who am I? The authority, their only team, so be it. And that's very disappointing. On the all to know that. I find that most, I would like them to look in the dictionary and see what the word patriot means.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. But before we go there, Sam, what has been happening from my humble observations with our West Indies batters, and it trickles down towards our first class. We make a very good score first innings. Individually, I'm speaking of, not the team collectively. We make a very good score first innings, and the second innings, we don't do anything. Well, we don't do much. Let me put it that way. Especially in the test when we had the 457, Athanaze 82 first innings, Kavim Hodge 120 first innings, Craig Batwitt he had a 48 first innings, Joshua De Silva 82 not out first innings, second innings Athanaze 1, Kavim Hodge not, Craig Batwitt 47, Joshua De Silva 14. And this has been the case with most of our players. Jason Holder, 59 in the third innings, in the third test, and 12 in the second. So what do we really have to do to, if a guy gives you a half century in the first innings, you come back and you feel comfortable, he's going to give you another half century at least in the second innings, Sam?
You have summed it up quite clearly and quite efficiently. It's a case where we do not have what we generally call stamina. We do not have the ability to go out there and perform consistently over a period of time. And I would say it comes from the fact that we're not accustomed to doing so. I can go back to the point where if we play 2 rounds of 4-day cricket, you would have better development of our batsmen and bowlers to go out there in test cricket and realize that you have to concentrate for longer periods. I think we surrender very easily simply because we are not prepared to fight things out mentally. Come on, you see situations here where we have scored over 400 runs in one innings. I'm not saying that it is not possible for a team to collapse in a second innings, but to collapse the way we did. Do you realize that we're practically bowled out in a session? This should not have happened to a team that scored 400 runs in a first innings. Added to that, what work has been done on the point of the coaches, the analysts, to summarize what's been happening to our batsmen? Too many of them are dismissed similarly on many occasions. And coming back to our own Louis, yes, when I speak of our own, I'm speaking of Leeward Islands because I'm a West Indian and I will always support West Indies. But to come back to Louis' situation, don't tell me that the young man has been making the same mistake. Yes, the coaches don't go out there and bat, the player does. But I am not convinced that enough work has been done with him to ensure that he understands the positioning of his feet, the line and length of the deliveries, in English conditions, what you play at and what you don't play at. I can say that at least 3 of the dismissals are deliveries that he should not have played at. And yes, the onus is on him, but yet I believe that he's not given the kind of support, the kind of guidance that he should have been given, as a young player going to England for the first time. I feel very sorry for the young man batting at number 3 from Jamaica. I feel that what we could and should have done, because you don't let people perish and suffer that way. I believe that all of his confidence as a batsman is thrown through the door at this moment. I would not, and I did say, I would not have played him in the third test match because we realized that he was at sea without even a paddle to get him to shore. And these are some of the things that our analysts, our selectors, our managers, our coaches have to look at. Because decisions made by us, I myself being a selector, the decisions made by us can sometimes build or destroy a player. And, you know, when selectors put teams out there, it is up to the coaches and the managers and senior players in the team to help the other players who are, let's say, new to the game as far as testing is concerned or being placed in precarious situations. We are not as good as we think we are as West Indians in terms of our cricket. So we need, as you clearly said, to do an autopsy, see where we are, see where we want to take the cricket, and hastily put things in place to do so. All is not lost. Honestly, there are one or two bright spots that we have seen, and we just need to build on those. And of course, encourage. But yes, we do have a lot of work to do.
Thank you very much, Sam Eustace. Two things. Do we believe that, and no disrespect to him, Alzari Joseph, do we believe that he has been overworked so far for the year? He came from the Australia Test Series, went into the IPL, went into the World Cup, now in England. Perhaps looking at him for the South Africa series. Do we think maybe we need to rest him, not drop him, give him a rest to recuperate and recover? One, if Kyle didn't make that, well, let me ask the question this way. Do you see any changes in that West Indies team going into the South Africa 2 test matches? And a third question may come from your answer to that second question, Eustace.
Well, it's so sad that in terms of the time, because the time that you would have given is just about fast approaching. But you know, I'll try to get in as much as possible. The question that you would have asked in reference to Zari Joseph, who has been just about the most experienced batsman bowler, and being given the vice captain position, which is a very important position in any team. We expect with his experience, being around for at least 80 years at this highest level, has been a big disappointment. He has been very, very inconsistent, and he definitely has a lot of work to do, a lot of catching up. And where he would have let the team down, you know, in so many occasions, don't really have the time to go into so many different things, but he is and was a big disappointment as the vice captain and as the just about the most experienced bowler outside of Joseph. In reference to the second question, where you would have asked, the second question would have been,
do you think there are going to be any changes to the test team for Australia?
Well, let me just say that in terms of the captain, who I expect to carry the load, being, you know, by far the most experienced, 89 test matches. When he went into the first test match, I think was just about in his 90th test match. He also has been a big disappointment over the last few years, not just in this series, but we expect for his experience, for after scoring some 1200s and a double hundred, we expect him to step up and carry the load in terms of his partner, who is, in my book, the best batsman in the West Indies, and definitely will be the big sign after the South Africa series. He is going to dominate the South Africa series. I personally believe that he is going to be the big and next great player coming from the Leewards, and it's only a matter of time. I am very confident in his ability, in the quality, and it's only a matter of time before we see the real performance to match his ability. In terms of the number 3 position, the guy Mackenzie, who has been a big disappointment, got into the team because he would have scored a double hundred, 1 century, very inexperienced at even the first class level, even going into the 2024 season, only 1 half century, which he would have scored in his last match. So he struggled in the West Indies under our condition, and going into the English condition, which is even more challenging, you would have expected the whole world from him. Well, I don't know, but in this very important position at number 3, based on his form and based on his experience, I really did not expect. You might see some flashes at time, but he's somebody who definitely has failed to deliver, and changes must come. I know the coach is from Jamaica. He's the only Jamaican in the team, and I believe their insularity, that is thing. In terms of the rest of the middle order, Hodge would have been the only one to score 100, just about one of the oldest in terms of age and experience at the first class level, and very inexperienced at the test level. But it was a fine to score a century and the most runs, the only one to score over 200 runs. In terms of Atenes, who also is a very promising player, very, very disappointing in terms of his ability, has not really delivered, in my opinion, and he has some work to do. He might be, and maybe given another opportunity at home in more familiar condition for him, and he has another opportunity to step up. In terms of Holder, who has continued to be a big disappointment with his experience at this level, a former captain, has fell down tremendously after he would have scored that double hundred against England in the Caribbean as the captain, took him up to the best all-rounder in the world. But over the last 3 to 5 years, he has declined tremendously, and definitely I would put Jeremiah Louis, which I also want to comment in terms of the Patriots team, because we're not accepting the Patriots team, and I expect the president of the Cricket Association, the association itself, to be represented, to stand up and to be counted. I expect the sports minister and the government official to speak out, because this is our team, and don't tell me Jeremiah is at the highest level playing for the West Indies, when in the squad, he has been seen to be one of the best in the Caribbean. But when it comes to now, your local team,
Eustace, sorry to continue, but Sam has to leave in the next few minutes. So, could you summarize? 1, would you make any changes to the West Indies team playing South Africa? Yes or no? If yes, why? 2, quickly please. Yes, I'll make changes. I'll bring out this person, bring in that person. Could you summarize all of that for us, please? Bearing in mind, Sam has to go in the next few minutes.
And also because I'm disappointed with the fast bowler, Shama Joseph, who happened to have a very good game because he had the condition that was suited for him in Australia. And I think it's somebody who is very overrated and definitely has some serious work to do. I don't think he is the kind of bowler who has, look at it in terms of he should have been playing 4-day cricket and prepared for the
Sorry, Eustace, I missed what you said. You said Jerry for who? And who you will bring in? What would you drop? Would you drop Shama? And if so, who you will bring in for Shama?
I expect them to rest. I expect them to rest Azari Joseph. I expect that, and I
Okay,
expect
fine.
them to rest Holder. I don't think that these guys, in terms of the contribution, I believe that there are other people who can be given the opportunity, and I believe that we
I
will
hear
leave
you.
the
Sorry to
team.
cut again. I hear you with that, Eustace. But you drop Alzari Joseph. Who would you bring in for Alzari?
It may not be a drop, but he needs
Sorry,
to
rest.
rested
Forgive me, you're
to
correct. Not
this
drop him,
particular
rest him.
tournament.
My apologies. I didn't mean to say that. It slipped. But who you'll rest Azari? Who would you bring in for Alzari?
Gentlemen, if you can hear me on
In the first 11 and open the bowling, because he has been the one in the regional tournament to take the top order down outside of the game with Barbados when he was ill. Every single game.
Yeah, that's the very same thing.
And I am telling you, up there in England.
Sorry, Eustace, could you hold a sec, please? It sounds as if Hugh and Sam, they're not hearing us. Are you hearing me, Eustace?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Eustace, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
are you hearing me, Hugh? Hugh, are you hearing me? Sam, are you hearing me? We seem to have had some technical difficulties here again. Yes, perhaps we will need to do that. But I know you indicated you have to leave around 8 o'clock. Sam, is there any final words you want to say before you do leave? Sam, are you hearing me, Sam? It seems as if neither of our guests, Sam or Hugh, they are hearing us. Well, nonetheless, we thank them for being here with us. I know Sam has to leave at 8 o'clock. So we do thank you, Sam, for being with us. We do thank you, Hugh. We'll have to perhaps explore that Zoom option, because we've used this system before, but tonight we're having a little challenges with it. But I thank you, gentlemen, nonetheless, for being with us. And we look forward to having you again in future. Thank you very much, Hugh, and thank you very much, Sam. I'm not too certain that you're hearing me. Yes, Eustace, you were wrapping up and saying.
Yeah, in wrapping up, I was saying that I expect the selectors to make a few changes, and the very important position, which is I expect Kyle and the captain to open. The captain is, in my opinion, has continued to be a big disappointment. He has not scored 166 runs for his experience in just about 6 innings, is a big disappointment. And he has been under the decline for many test series, and he is getting closer, I think, to the end of his career, where I am telling you, informing this country and the West Indies, that Kyle, at the end of the South African series, where he would have established himself in the West Indies team, I am looking forward for him to lead the West Indies team in the future. But I will leave that particular position for another time, because I have a lot to say in terms of that. I also was looking forward for him to be given the opportunity to even do some bowling, where we have a team scoring over 400 runs, because he's a very, very good spin bowler. So that was also, in terms of the coach and the management team, with the captain, I don't know what is the problem, why he was not given the opportunity to bowl. But in terms of the South African team, the number 3 position is something that they definitely have to get corrected. In terms of the middle order, Chase is somebody who perhaps I would have liked to see in the middle order. I saw him today up there in Canada. I think must be playing some 2020, the money cricket, as I would call it, because that is what many of these guys are interested in, They're not interested in really the true cricket, which is Test cricket. The Test, you get the best. But in terms of the 2020, you could be a non-bowler, a non-batsman, on a good day, and you make some runs, and you get a chance to play in some sort of team.
Eustace.
I think of Test cricket more than that. So there are few changes. The wicket keeper, who also has been a disappointment in this particular series, he would have scored some runs, so that would have given him the opportunity, and perhaps he might be the vice captain in this particular series, against South Africa. So we will start with him, but in terms of the number 3 and replacing Azari and Holder, who I expect them to rest, I expect Jerry to come in, and we can probably look at Graves, to bat at number 6, and he also can do some bowling. Moti would be there. We will give Shama another opportunity because he's still young, inexperienced, but he has to perform to be in the team, and not because he would have win a game for the West Indies, which means he get a will in the West Indies team for the rest of his career. He has to perform. He did not really perform much to get in the team. Yes, he did perform to stay in the team, but for him to continue to be in the team, he got to continue to produce, and to be productive. So we are going to wait to see what type of South Africa team is coming. Yes, I think they would have named the team where we can be proud to have a black man, leading the South African team, I think, in this Test series, the short middle order. And we expect South Africa, in terms of the bowling, to have some experience at this level. So we want to have a good competitive Test series where we get the best out of South Africa, the best out of the West Indies, and at the end of the day, let cricket be the winner.
Eustace, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. You were not hearing me? Troy, I can hear you when you ask the question. I'm still here.
Well, forgive me. I was hearing you okay. And it's just that I didn't hear you for a second or two. That's why I asked if you were there. I thought okay.
I'm still here.
Okay.
So, as I was saying that we expect the South African team to come to the table, and we know that they have some world-class players, in terms of, especially in the bowling department. They have some decent bowler. Ribardo has been around for some time, and Nokia, and bowling up to sometimes 90 miles per hour. So we expect the South African team. We would have played them sometime recent in the one day, which we would have taken the one day series. So I know that they would want to come down to change that in terms of the results. But the West Indies have some serious work, a lot of work to do. And as I said, I expect the captain to step up. I expect a lot of good things and great things from our local player, Kyle. I have so much confidence in his ability, and batted in this condition, he would have batted all of the players in the Caribbean. The only one to score 3 centuries, many half centuries, the most runs, a tremendous average in his first season at just about 48.17. Was tremendous in terms of batsmanship. And he got injured in Jamaica. Played just about half of the tournament, seriously injured. Nobody knew outside of a few persons. And he continued to play half sick and still continued to dominate. Made a brilliant 100 against the Windward and continue at in the tournament, and at the end of the tournament, the best batsman in the West Indies, and I expected great things from him. I was very proud in terms of what I saw in England. Yes, we don't expect him to be perfect in his first season as an inexperienced player, but we expect him to grow, to develop, to advance, and to be productive. And that is what I believe that he will be, he will do, and I expect great things from him in this particular series against South Africa.
Okay, Eustace, we thank you very much for your comments. Quite detailed indeed. I always call you the walking encyclopedia because the knowledge you have upstairs. And I really thank you for your position this evening, taking time out to be with us. And we look forward to have you on the program again in the near future.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. I really enjoy the interaction, and as they say, when you have fun, it's so sorry that you have to run. But if we don't leave, we also won't be able to come back. So I'm definitely looking forward for another opportunity where we can have continue, because during the South Africa series we'll be able to look more on that, and then for the CPL, which I have so much to say. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and to give you the opportunity to continue your very popular and important program, and wish you the best of the rest for your program and also the rest of the evening. So continue to stay the positive force that you would have been in the past, and I know that your service over the years and even in this station has been very, very welcome, rewarding, and knowledgeable. So thank you so much for your service, for the time tonight, and may God bless this proud federation of St. Kitts and Nevis as we continue the dialogue, the interaction, and I'm looking forward for the next time around.
Thank you very much, Eustace. That was Mr. Eustace Maynard, cricket commentator and analyst, our third panelist. I thank you for being with us here, and we look forward to having you on the program again. We also had Mr. Samuel Spencer, the chief Leeward Islands Cricket Selections Committee chair, and we also had Mr. Hugo, a former Leeward Island player and also manager of the Leeward Islands tournament, especially when we would have won the regional championship back in 1990, I think it was, or thereabout. We thank all three gentlemen for availing themselves to be with us to discuss West Indies cricket, the test series against England, and also the upcoming South Africa. But we had to slip away because we have other matters to discuss. But we thank all you gentlemen for being with us tonight. You're listening to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host. Stick and stay. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with you. And we're going to be talking some football. We have netball. We have a little bit of golf. And we might slip in some... And we're going to be having some netball, football.
Let's get real on WINNFM.
And also a bit of, perhaps, we're going to have some Olympics. That's the hot thing happening right now. So stick and stay. Don't go away. Join us again in a few with On the Ball.
Perspectives that matter, from the runway to the political arena. We'll talk with Lavi, cover it all. Let's get real. Wednesday nights at 8 on WINNFM.
Similar know about you, but me love St. Kitts and Nevis bad.
Soca Zone presents Showcase is a brand new show. It's an open mic edition for the artists. You can come and showcase your talent where you can sing, do what you feel like, freestyle. If you want to be a singer from how long, but don't get the push down the courage, this is the show for you. Every first Saturday, every month, we're going to be doing a show for the artists them. This is what the open mic edition is all about. The host Haslim, aka DJ Raspy of Tough Sound, and Scratchy Bama. We don't know. Soca Zone 98.9, Win FM, Soca Zone Showcase. Every first Saturday, every month, Soca Zone presents Showcase Artist Thing 98.9.
The radio station's so hot, it's cool.
You don't know. You're listening to 98.9.
98.9 Win FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back to another edition of On The Ball here at WinFM 98.9. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for staying with us. And we thank our guests we just had as well. We're going to go. We did spend some good time. It's 8:26, so we have just about half an hour thereabout. So we have to squeeze in a bit of golf, netball, football. Let's go to Zeke, and who will bring us some information.
I'm 50 golf tournament. Played on results from the Four Seasons Golforama Culturama 50 golf tournament. Played on the weekend at the Four Seasons golf course in Nevis. We had closest to the pin on hole number 7. Kelson Swanston, closest to the pin on hole number 12. We had Jason from the Ross University. Closest to the pin on hole number 16, we had Zeke Percival. In the overall championship, we had in 4th place, Chris Hensley. 3rd place, Wayne Tyson. 2nd place, Zeke Percival. And the champion in the Four Seasons Culturama Golforama tournament, Michael Davis. Michael Davis pulling out the championship for the Four Seasons Golforama Culturama 50. So congratulations in order to Michael Davis for winning the championship. Thanks to Four Seasons for sponsoring the Culturama Golforama 50 tournament.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zeke, for updating us on what is happening with golf. And of course, we have to commend your sponsors. And we say a very big thank you to sponsors, because it's important for sponsors to actually come on board and be a part of anything But of course, this is a sports program, so I'm going to be biased towards sports. And because it's needed to ensure it happens. It's needed. Sponsorship is needed to ensure it continues. Right now, we're going across to netball. As I say good netball, I say good evening to Miss Janet Grell Hull out of Nevis. When you think about Nevis and netball, you think about Janet. When you think about Janet, you think about netball in Nevis. Primarily, but also in St. Kitts and Nevis. And although she'll be glad to hear this, the St. Kitts and Nevis Netball Association, they've organized a local league, and they have some 5 teams competing, and that is sponsored by the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. And again, I thank them for coming on board and sponsoring the National Association here. And in the first game, this league was opened a few weeks ago. In the first game, Aquaballers took care of business against Aces 50-27. Alia Gibson, 39 attempts, 36 scored. And she normally playing as, well, sometimes goal shoot, sometimes goal attack. Our challenger, she had 14 of 16. For Aces, El Connor, 30 attempts, she scored 16. Kay Blanchett, 4 of 8. Jerry Wallins, 7 of 11. In the second game, Newtown Netball Club came up against Coscab Coca-Cola Shamrocks, and the Shamrocks took care of business 40-42. Cannoneer from Newtown, she had 4 of 5 attempts. Isles had 10 of 19. Nanton, our Nanton, 8 of 17 for Shamrocks. We had 23 of 27 from S. Williams. M. Liebert, 11 from 17. Jeff Fraser, 4 from 6. And Kewil, well, none from none. She was on, but she didn't get a chance to shoot. On Saturday 20th, Newtown Netball Club, they squeezed past Keon Pacers 28-25. And the top shooter for Newtown was Kay Cannoneer, who had 14 out of 22. While for Pacers, the top shooter was Jay Chapman, who scored 12 of 23 at 33 attempts. Aces, Shamrocks, Coca-Cola Shamrocks, Coscab Coca-Cola Shamrocks, they were far too much for the Aces team, and it was 46-32 in favor of Shamrocks. The top scorer for Aces, we had El Connor, 20 of 35 attempts, while for Shamrocks, we had Chantel Williams scoring 32 of her 43 attempts. And then we had on July the 25th, Newtown 10 Aquaballers. Woo! I believe police are looking for Aquaballers because this was murder. 65-10 in favor of Aquaballers. Obviously, Aquaballers, one of the top teams in the country. Newtown, they played last year, and I think they have done some restructuring. Some of the players perhaps not playing, so they are going through some retransitioning. And they went down 65-10. In terms of Shamrocks, which is one of the top teams, in my view, the top teams are Aquaballers and Shamrocks. And Pacers went down 21-30 to Shamrocks. And in the last set of games that were played on the weekend here, forgive me, that was on Thursday, was it? Aquaballers, Town Pacers 19, Aces 59. Aces really taking an advantage of Aquaballers. And then we had a toughie, a real tough game. This was more a finals. This probably should have been a finals, as what we had happening here. Aquaballers 50. Forgive me. Sun Island Clothing Aquaballers 50. Coscab Coca-Cola Shamrocks 50. At one point, Aquaballers led by 5. Shamrocks, they were able to come wipe off that deficit, and they went ahead by 7. And the Aquaballers would have done well to come back and wipe off that deficit, and coming down into the last quarter, they were leading here, etc. If we look at a breakdown of the quarters, Aquaballers first quarter, Aquaballers 13, Shamrocks 11. Second quarter, well, these are the shots they made. In the second quarter, Aquaballers made 10, Shamrocks 17. In the third quarter, Aquaballers made 13, Shamrocks made 10. In the fourth quarter, Aquaballers made 14, Shamrocks 12. So Aquaballers controlling the first, the third, and the fourth quarter, while Shamrocks controlling the second. And that was tit for tat netball, and I really enjoyed it. And the matches are going to be continuing. And I made an error. I didn't give one of the teams their sponsorship name. Keon Pacers, we have Keon, we have Newtown. Study It Ent Aces, that's the name of the team. They are sponsored. Study It Ent Aces. I do apologize for that. That's their sponsored. And they are in third place at the moment. And I thought I had the actual points table, but it seems that I do not. I'll have to get that next time around for you for next week. Well, forgive me, there isn't going to be a program next week. I'll be in Nevis recovering from the long jam for Culturama. I'm going up there. Hopefully, I'll go up on the Friday, look at some poets in the square, and maybe I might find a chick or two up there who might invite me to spend the weekend with them, and I might come back down Wednesday. We're going to see about that. I'm not certain. But we don't have the points table, so the next edition of On the Ball, which is going to be August the 13th, no program next week because of the Culturama. Next week, Tuesday is a public holiday, Monday and Tuesday. But the final game for the first Federal Cooperative Credit Union, the final round is coming up on Tuesday, actually. And I'll tell you in a minute the two matches. And these games are played by the Pam Tyson at the Pam Tyson Netball Complex. And it's just a contribution of $5 to get you in. And believe me that there are some interesting, exciting games. So the final rounds of matches that will be played on Thursday, God Spear, we'll be seeing at 6 o'clock it is. Yes. Sun Island Clothing Aquaballers, they're coming up against Keon Pacers. And then at 7:15 p.m., Newtown will engage Study It Ent Aces. And that will be the end of the first round of netball in the first Federal Cooperative Credit Union's Netball St. Kitts and Nevis Netball Association's local league. And round 2 will begin on August 8th with Aces versus Pacers at 6 p.m. and Newtown versus Aqua at 7:30 p.m. And on the 10th, Shamrock will come up against Aqua. Newtown at 6. Newtown will come up against Aces at 7:30 p.m. And that's it for your netball lovers. And hey, I must tell you, I have to say this. I was impressed with the crowds. Netball means a lot of ladies, but not only a lot of ladies wearing very short skirts. And I've seen some very athletic young ladies in there, stretching and jumping and doing splitting, all kind of things. And the crowds have been heavy. And it is said, where you find women, you're going to find men. And really, a lot of men in the place, a lot of men going out to support it. I don't know if their cousins and their daughters and their sisters and aunts and nieces, or even their mothers are playing. I don't know that, but a lot of men in the place. So I congratulate you. There are quite a lot of ladies as well. I think the men outnumber the ladies. But the crowds are good. And I encourage you to go out and support the Netball Association. Now we go into football. Boy, all kind of things happening in football. Second division, congratulations to Security Forces. They won the first division. They won it. They drew against Molyneux. And that's some serious politics, you know. This politics is a serious thing. Security Forces, and when I say politics, I don't mean PAM and Labour and NRP and CCM. Football politics. Security Forces, they had a coach working with them. They're on top of the table, you know. They're winning, they're leading. But they decided to part ways with their coach for whatever reason or reasons. The coach went Molyneux. Now Security Forces are going to play Molyneux in the second round. And that game draw. The coach of Molyneux decided, boy, no, I ain't going to let Security Forces who fire me come and run things. So that match draw. But all Security Forces needed was just 1 point to win the championship, and they got it. Jones Group, Sandy Point, they are also promoted to the Premier Division for next season. Now we have a situation where Honda Newtown United, they were 8th in the Premier Division. They are waiting to see who the third place in the first division will be. Is it going to be Mantab or is it going to be Deep? Saddlers, they were in with a very good chance. But guess what? I think it is Molyneux. Molyneux put a 3-1 beating down on Fast Gas Saddlers, so knock Saddlers completely out of the playoffs. It was a 3-way tie, but Tuesday last week, it became a 2-way tie. So Newtown is sitting and waiting to see who they're going to play. And I've said this for forever, and I'll say it for forever again. I personally do not like this idea of no number 8 team playing in the Premier Division, playing a number 3 team in the First Division. I don't like that system at all. And the National Basketball Association, they use that as well. My argument is for you to decide. If you want 2 teams going down, the last 2 teams go down, and the top 2 teams come up, fine. Or you want the last 3 teams go down, and the top 3 teams come up, fine. But don't tell me you had a bad season, nearly get promoted. I had an excellent season. You had a bad season, nearly get demoted. You miss going down, relegated is the word. You miss being relegated by 1 to whatever point, because I had such a bad season in the Premier Division. I had such a wonderful season in the First Division. And if I got 1 bad match, I stay in First Division for a year, and you had 1 good match, you stay. That can't be right. That can't be right. This thing is supposed to favor the more consistent clubs. And I'll argue that. But anyway, let's get into some quick results. Tuesday 23rd, Technical Center, Molyneux 3-1 over Fast Cash. Ron Johnson for Saddlers in the 45th. Ronald Williams a brace in the 66th and 78th minute. Malik Hodge in the 90 plus 3 minutes for Molyneux. 607 Lodge Patriots 4-1 over Connery Fireballs. Najee Berridge 33 minutes for Fireballs. For Lodge, Josh Liebert, he scorched the back of the net twice in the 3rd and 53rd minute. Jamari Chapman put a bulge in the old onion bag in the 80th minute. Tyreek Morton sealed the fate in the 87th minute. Wednesday 24th, in the SKNFA Cup Finals. This was a biggie, and between me and you, it was a biggie. Montreville, let me start another way. SL Horsford St. Paul's United, they're going for a 4-peat. They've won the FA Cup 3 times, looking to make it number 4. Why, Montreville Farm, Clean Right United, Olo Jets, they put a beat down on St. Paul's, you know. 1-0 first half. Kendall Liebert, he put a bulge in the old onion bag in the 21st minute. Olo Jets up 1-0. Tiquani Williams, he sealed the fate of St. Paul's in the 85th minute. Old Road walking away with the FA Cup 2-0 over St. Paul's. This is the first silverware in the Premiership for, well, it's not really a Premiership competition because First Division teams in it. But since they are in the Premiership, it's the first bit of silverware for Old Road Jets. We say congratulations. And we say tough luck to St. Paul's. They've been hot and cold, having some good ones. They've been falling back. They led early in the first round, and then they gave it away, and they had like 4, 5, 6 games they lost back to back to back. And they haven't found their farmers yet. Yes, they're into the final 4. We're going to talk about that in a second. But last year, while the season was going on, I made a few predictions. Prediction number 1, that in my humble view, Old Road and Bath are going to make the final 4 this year. I am at 50% with that because Old Road made the final 4. Bath, they were doing good again, hot and cold, and coming on to the end of the second round, they went a little downhill, so they didn't make it. So that's one of the predictions. 2, I predicted 1 or 2 big teams are going to be out of the final 4, and there will be the Whaling and Gnashing of Teeth. One big team, well, the biggest team because they were the defending champions, Rams Village Superstars. They didn't make it into the final 4. And speaking about them, they're currently in Curacao competing in the CONCACAF Club Championships. They advanced to the quarterfinals, I think it was, because a team from Haiti that they should have played, the team didn't show up. So we say congratulations to the Rams Village Superstars, and we wish them all the best. Remember last year, St. Paul's, that tournament was held in St. Kitts and played at the Technical Center. St. Paul's participated, but they didn't do good. They didn't do too well in that. We're hoping that Rams Village Superstars will do a lot better. I think Keon participated some years ago. I believe this might be the second time Villages they are participating in Newtown. I think they participated once or twice. So we say congratulations to Ram Village Superstars and the best wishes, but they're not in the final 4. So they were one of the teams. They were the team that had the Whaling and the National of Teeth. So I also predicted that Old Road, they are going to win the Premier Division either 2024, 2025, or 2026. I gave them that 3-year window. I also predicted that by 2028, Godspear, Bath, and Old Road and Bath would have won the Premier Championship, or at least once. Bath win it once, Old Road win it once. So I'm still on target with the Old Road one for this year. I don't know if they're going to do it. They're looking good, but Keon looking good, and St. Peter's looking good, and St. Paul's looking good. Who looking better? That's a good question. So for the FA Cup finals, we touched on that. Then where do we go now? We go into Division 1 Security Forces. They drew 1-1 with Molyneux. Dion Dolphin of Security Forces, he opened the scoring for them in the 3rd minute. Ronaldo Williams, just when Security Forces start that, they had full 3 points. Ronaldo Williams spoiled the party because he netted in the 88th minute. So that gave Security Forces the championship in the 1st division. Congratulations to them again. Then we go on Friday the 26th. Oh no, that's the one we just gave you. Premier Division Final 4. This is where the big people party. Montreal Farms United Old Road came up against Azul Keon Rockets. Remember, Keon, they were leading for some point, but then St. Peter's Development Bank, St. Peter's, they came from behind and slipped up. But would you believe Azul Keon Rockets put a 3-1 beating on Old Road, 2-0 halftime, and it was a very good game. For Keon, Devontae Carty, he opened the scoring in the 42nd minute. Jabez Darced, he doubled the lead in the 44th. In the 59th, Bernal Hobson playing for Old Road. He probably wanted to get on the score sheet, but somebody didn't tell him which goal he needs to score in. So he scored on his own goalkeeper in the 59th minute. Keon up 3-0 compliments Bernal Hobson with an own goal. Javier Sutton of Old Road, he pulled one back in the 79th minute, but they ran out of time. They weren't able to get the other 2 goals to equalize. And for this final 4, it's not a winner. It's win, lose, and draw. If you win 3 points, you draw 1 point. You lose, of course, you get nothing. in the second game, boy, this was an interesting one. Development Bank St. Peter's. And boy, they catch me off guard, eh? They really catch me off guard this season. They've been playing. I don't know what Deco doing up there with them. But Deco Huggins, he moved from Spurs up to Development Bank St. Peter's. But whatever he doing, he working. Because they ended the regular season 2 rounds of football leading the table. They led the table, so they went into the Final Four as number 1 seed. And again, I always believe that whoever leading at the end of the 2 rounds, they are the champions of St. Kitts and Nevis football. Anybody going where go play, it going to be them, not who win the Final Four or Super 6. And you know what? Maybe when I become president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, I will change all of these things. Well, that is, I'll work with the teams to encourage them to change it. Because I believe with all my heart that in the winner of the Final Four, that's, to me, is a separate competition. You could give whatever money, but whoever win after the 2 rounds, you go away, you represent the country. So, Development Bank, SL Hartsford, St. Peter's, Chevron Boston, put a bulge in the old onion bag for St. Peter's in the 31st minute. I think that gets a lot of people off guard. St. Paul's, they thought they equalized a few minutes after that. Well, some minutes after that, but the goal was an offside. So it went from what people thought was 1-1 to back to 1-0. However, Galanji Clark, he converted a penalty for St. Paul's in the 77th minute, 1-1. So that is how it ended. 1.2 St. Peter's, 1.2 St. Paul's. The battle of the Saints, as it were. So I like how it is. It's set up here. Keon, they had 3 points. St. Peter's in second with 1 point. St. Paul's third with 1 point. Old Road fourth. They are the comb so far. They're yet to get off the mark. And I think this is their maiden appearance in the Final Four, so I congratulate them for that. And having said that, their coach, Morris, when he came on board with them from Connery, I think they were almost on the brink of relegation to the first division. But he stabilized the ship and they were not relegated. And since that, they've been climbing the table where they're in the top 4, Final Four. Would they win this year? It's all up to them. Why? With 2 remaining games, any team win them 2 remaining games in the finals. That's simple. That's all it is. A simple thing. Win your 2 games and in the final. If Keon win the 2 games, they'll have a perfect record of winning 3. They're in. If St. Paul's win the 2 games, they'll go to 7 points. They're in. If Old Road win the 2 games, they too go to 7 points. They're in. And even at the back end, Old Road win the 2 games, they have 6 because they lost. They'll be in. St. Peter's win their 2 games, they go to 7. They're in. But guess what? I think tomorrow, before I go there, Morris. In my humble view, in the view of Troy Biff Mills, I think he is the number 1 coach we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I think he's the top coach. Of course, I might match somebody can't, but if that is my view, I mean, you can't vex with me if that's how I think I feel. If you feel different, I can't vex with you. But I feel Morris is the best coach we have in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this is not for 1 or 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know how many of you remember a few years back, Washington Archibald created an uproar in the Premier. They made the finals. And who it was? Newtown, I think? Somebody defeated them in the finals. That time, Washi had some young, strong, fit school children, man. Carl Mitchum from Newtown, he was one of them. I don't remember who the other players were, but I remember Carl. But you know what happened? The next season, all them Premier Division clubs say, Washi, nothing to all say, no, we want with people them here. So Newtown went to Washi and pulled the Newtown players or students at the time. Canary Liquor say, oh, them two over there from Canary come. They pulled it. And Village pulled the players from Washi. And Village pulled the players. Well, Village's thing. Spurs pulled the players from Washi. And that was the end of Washi. Washi kept herself again. So since Morris has been with Washi, Washington Archibald High School, where they nearly won the championship. And then he left there. He went to Connery. And we saw Connery climbing. I think they won the championship once, maybe twice. With him, I can't remember. He went across to Old Road. He stopped this kid because they was sliding going down the hill for first division. He put on the brakes. Whoa, come back. So he stopped them and he kept them in the Premier Division. And now they've been, last year they were in the final, the Super 6. They didn't make the finals. But this year, they're in the Final 4. They have a chance to make the finals. Would they get there? I don't really know. So in my view, Morris is the top coach in the country. It's unfortunate that he's not being used more in the national setup, the senior national setup. Why, I don't know. But we are going to find out about that at some point. But before we finish, upcoming games, and we're going, 6 minutes to a day, but we're going to be wrapping up. And who we have coming up? And there's a female league going on. We're going to give you a little more about that, not next week after. And remember, next week is a public holiday, so we're not having any on the ball. And then there's also some age categories on the 12, on the 15, on the 17. My view, these games should be played when the Premier League and the First Division have concluded. We only have a handful of referees, and the referees are doing all of these games. The referees could get burnt out and tired, but they're fit and strong, so they probably handle it. Thursday, the 1st of August, Women's League, Elvis Starbound, Security Forces versus Queen City at the Technical Center, 6 p.m. Orlando Akmicham, Johan Newkirk, Yolanda Warner, David Phipps. There's no assessor. Friday, the 2nd of August, a doubleheader at the Technical Center. And this is the women's Elvis Starbound's Women's League. Mapao Keon Rockets versus Tropical Blossom Bath United. I got to stop and give Bath some kudos. They have competed in every single NFA competition for the last 10 years, 15 years, I don't know. Be it female, be it under 17, the Premier League, the First Division. I don't believe they're enjoying best moments or very good moments from the FA in terms of contribution. First off, I believe they should play half of their matches in Nevis. Whatever competition they are. It can't be right and fair for them to come in down, spend something like what, $5, $6, $7, $8,000 a game. I don't know, I'm just talking. But I know it's a few $1,000s. And I probably need to work it out. Every match they're playing and all of this. And they're coming down here on Friday. I know their coach, Pastor Claxton, and I know Donald Banga Freeman from SL Hartsford St. Paul's. Both of them were on another radio station during the week with St. Paul's lending support for Tropical Blossoms Bath. This I thought was an excellent thing. Banga said he hasn't told his executive as yet, or he hasn't suggested it to his executive as yet. However, he made a big, bad, bold, and mighty statement. When they win the Premier League this year, the winner is going to get $50,000. Where was them kind of money when I was playing football, boy? $50,000, that ain't a little bit of money, that's a lot of money. But then again, when you start taking away the transportation and the meals and all of that, paying coach, you end up in not much. But Banga said, when St. Paul's win the Final Four, they are going to donate half of it, $25,000 easy dollars, to Tropical Blossoms Bath United. But he hadn't gotten the permission from the YNA yet. But he believes he's going to get the permission. Even if they don't, even if St. Paul's don't win the league this year, just that thought alone, to me, says a lot. That thought is a big thought. And I like to compliment Donald Banger Freeman on that as the president of the SL Hartsford St. Paul's United Football Club. So back to the game. 6 p.m. Shanda Wilkinson in the middle. She'll have Tyra Wilkinson, her assistant Junico Macho on the line. Mekelia Dillion the fourth. In the second game, Village Lady Superstars versus Honda Newtown United, 8 p.m. David Phipps carries the whistle. Rennick Bartlett, Alexis Joseph on the lines. Davana Claxton, fourth official. And according to Sanford and Son, Elizabeth, this is the big one, baby. Not that I'm coming, Elizabeth. This is the big one. Saturday, 3rd August. I might be nervous. You know, boy, Culturama, I might go tell them ladies, them chicks are going to get up there. Maybe we go work it for Sunday and not Saturday. So, Saturday 3rd, Premier League, Final 4. MFCR Old Road coming up against SL Horsford St. Paul's, 6 p.m. Johan Cork, Jevian Archibald, Sanchez Bass, the referee. Johan Cork, Jevian Archibald on the line. Orlando Ack Mitchum. And I must commend Orlando Ack Mitchum. Big player for Newtown, went to Connery coach player. That is Sol Island Otto Connery. Got into the refereeing last year, I think this year, and he's now doing fourth official. He has come a long way. And in training, the way he thinks and reasons, I'm really impressed with him. So congratulations to your Akbest, which is Stuart Wallins, the assessor. And remember, Old Road lost their game. St. Paul's draw. Development Bank St. Peter's. They're coming up against Azul KR and Rockets at 8 p.m. Kareem Benjamin, Lenoy Paris, Michaela Ode, and David Phipps are the officials. Kendria Tully, she is the assessor. And Sunday, 4th August. Why they choose to play this game on a Culturama weekend, virus? I mean, Culturama weekend, remember, everybody in St. Kitts, they go Nevis except the 10 people who leave back. Go Nevis on the Friday, come back down the Wednesday. The promotion relegation game going to be played Sunday, 4th August. No, man, something can't be right with that in my humble view. That should have been something. You don't play this game on a Culturama weekend. As a matter of fact, maybe you shouldn't have been playing any football on a Culturama weekend. But hey, anyway, that's my humble view. Exactly. But a lot of men who will go football, I believe, go in Nevis. Mantab, Honda Newtown United, 8th position in the Premier, coming up against Mantab, who right now in 3rd, Dietbe, who right now in 4th, but whichever one end up in 3rd, at the Technical Center, 7 p.m. on Sunday, 4th August. Sylvester Richards, the referee, Rennick Bartlett, Josh Walters on the line, Jody Walters, the 4th official, Ted White Douglas, the assessor. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the program. And I'm going to be stepping out. I'm going to be heading to SP, where the best be. And I thank you very much for being a part of On the Ball here with us from since 7 o'clock. I thank our guests we had, Mr. Eustace Maynard, Mr. Samuel Spencer, as well as Mr. Hugo. I thank them for being with us. And we invite you to be with us again on the ball next week. Not next week, Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday is a public holiday. You're going to be in Nevis jamming and dancing and drinking some coffee of some sort. Maybe some bush tea, maybe not coffee. But nonetheless, I look forward to being with you. I thank you for being with us. And the following weekend, the following Tuesday, it was indeed a pleasure. We didn't get much to touch about the Olympics. We touched some serious netball. We touched some golf. We touched a lot of football and more so cricket. And we have still some Olympics. And we say congratulations to the 3 St. Kitts and Nevis Olympian, including the youngest athlete to have gone represent St. Kitts and Nevis, Troy, and also the first swimmer to go and represent Nevis, Troy. I know I catch you, it's not Troy Biff Mills. Anytime I hear them talking about that, I think it's me, I get goosebumps. But it's Troy Nisbet out of Nevis. We say congratulations to the 3 of them and wish them well. Troy's event, the 50 meters, I think it comes up on Thursday. His preliminaries. So we wish him all the best. So thank you for being with us on the ball here at 98.9. And tune in again, not next week, Tuesday, the 6th, the following Tuesday, the 13th. And as I slip away, always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Have a good night.